All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends on wherever you're receiving us from. Welcome back to the Hot Up Nation Talk Show. So this week we'll be looking at youth civic engagement. Okay, how it is necessary for the youth to get engaged in civic activities, and we're looking at seeing how such an engagement could lead to building of leaders of tomorrow. Yes, if I remember, those of us are probably from Africa or Nigeria. You remember the song that says, "Parent, listen to your children. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Try to pay our school fees and give us sound education." And there's so many people actually wondering, are we really the leaders of tomorrow? What's happening? We are growing, but the same people that we think are actually could allow us to get there, they are still the ones in power. So what is happening? Where are we heading to? Is it because we as youth, we are not engaging, we are not doing what we have to do? What is the problem? So those are the questions we are actually going to ask this morning, and together we'll find the answers to them. Like you've seen on the flyer, I have the guests already in the studio. Two of them are here. We are definitely waiting for the third person that will join us very soon. I'm going to introduce you first to Mr. Muidin and Ibitowa. Hi, Muidin.
Hey, good morning. Hi, Arab. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm great.
I really want to say thank you so much for accepting to be on the show.
You're welcome.
I mean, even if you are talking about youth civic engagement, I see you wearing the jersey. So why are you putting on the spot?
Because today marks the beginning of African Cup of Nation, and it's being held in Ivory Coast. So it's true that I cannot be there right now, but I'm there from here.
All right, okay, guys. So it's starting today, African Cup of Nations, and we are thinking on this show very soon. Probably at the end of every week, we'll do some analysis of the matches that are played, and then, but you can actually tell us who we think is going to win. And then on the show again is the next person, the Mr. Sulaiman Babatunde. Hi, Mr. Sulaiman.
Yeah, hi. Yeah,
How are you doing,
thanks for
sir?
having me. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much for accepting to be on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, you're not putting on a jersey, but like, do you have in mind who you think is gonna win this?
I wish Nigeria wins it. No, then Ivory
Okay,
Coast, followed by
you
Ivory Coast.
you wish Nigeria wins this. Okay, okay, we
Yes.
haven't we haven't started already, but I'm having uh I don't know. Oh, Monsieur Mori Toure. Bonnie Rezani, my friend. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate, sir. Okay, guys, back to the studio here. So we said we'll be talking about youth civic engagement, and which we see as like leading a pattern for leading, you know, to building future leaders. Now let's start from the definition, like what we think youth civic engagement is all about. Let's start with Moidin.
When we talk about civism or civic, anything civil, is related to the things that are being carried out in the community. What are those things that make up the community? And the community begins at the level of the unit, which is the family. And
Yes.
from the family, we have the community. And from the community, we have the country. So when we talk about engagement, we're talking about what are those things these people need to do in order to make that community, in order to make that country, in order to make that unit a bigger one, a peaceful one, and a one that is on the path of development and progress. So civic engagement can be a lot of things at the same time, but then let's start at this level and then we go into the discussion later.
Okay, that's pretty great. Mr. Suleiman, what's your own view about civic engagement?
Yeah. My own view is it goes beyond we having our youth, being present. It's about active engagement, advocacy, and actively participating in building up our community. In order to have the desired society that we all yearn for. As youths, criticism will not take us anywhere unless we take action, and that's the age of action. Being youth, that's when we have the much required energy to drive the society forward. So that's what I believe from my own point of view. In adding to what my brother just said.
All right, that's pretty cool. So, from out there, those of you that are viewing us, please, you can actually share the show with your friends. We are on Facebook, Horeb Nation. We're on YouTube, Horeb Nation 159. You can actually go to Instagram, which is Horeb Nation underscore Horeb underscore Nation 360. Just share with other people, and then we have the comment section is available for you. To share with us what your views are, what you think. If you have questions that you actually want to ask our guests, go ahead and drop your questions right in the comment section. I will have them display right here on the screen. So while we are hoping for John Isaac to join us in any time, let's get ready for the show to move on. All right, guys, welcome back to the show, the Horeb Nation Talk Show. We're talking about youth civic engagement, and today I'm having with me Muideen Ibitoa and Mrs. Suleiman Babatunde, and together we'll be looking into questions such as, what is the civic engagement like? Just the mention, they talk about it. We will go deeper into this, and also we'll be looking at what are the importance, of youth participating in civic activities? And I will be asking you from out there, if you're watching us, do you participate in civic activities? Do you? What are the things you do? What are the activities? And what are the barriers? Okay. What are the barriers to civic engagement? And we'll also be looking at what is happening. Definitely, what we were planning to, what the plan for civic engagement is that so that in the future, we as young can actually, take over and then lead the activities of our community, of our nation. But we find it that it is really difficult sometimes that youths are not found, they are not found in those positions. What is the problem? So, Muhyiddin, you were actually talking about, the engagement. Now, we want to look at in the society, according to you or the way you see it, what are the activities that are actually that youth must get engaged into if they really want to, help, their society and their communities?
So I think one of the fundamental thing I want to point out or highlight is uh, political apathy, actually. Because many people, I teach here, and yesterday in my class, I was asking the students to talk
I mean,
about,
I would love people to know when you say you teach here, where are you?
oh, I'm in the United States, I'm in Georgia.
Okay.
I teach in a high school in Georgia State here. And yesterday, I asked my students to discuss on topics uh, ranging from liberty, freedom, and all those. And some of my students were like, "This is politics. It's none of my business." And I think we should, the youth, we should understand that politics is always our business, because anything we do, anything the politicians say, is going to directly or indirectly affect us. So from the tender age, we need to begin to what, to be actively involved. So one of those things I will point out fast is that youth that have the chance to vote should be able to go out and vote when there is election. But also, it is not about politics always. There are things in the community. For example, you can go where there is cleaning activity in the community. You can actively engage or involve yourself in those kind of things. So there is this general cleaning around. You can mobilize and say, as youth, let's try to what, to make our community clean. We know that right now one of the biggest discuss or one of the biggest topic in the world is talking about global health warming.
Yes.
So we can also participate in that by trying to make sure that we sensitize, or we try to give people education. So we can educate people, we can participate in politics, we can also make sure that our communities are clean. Some, we have seen some other places where we call what you call in Senegal, we call them Yanama, which is a movement of politics, but
Yeah,
not only
Yanama.
about politics. Yanama, and we have in Congo, we have La Lucha in Congo. So all these things are, they are youth putting out their voice in order to make changes at all levels. So we can partake in health, we can partake in politics, we can sensitize people, we can teach people, we can also even make sure that our community are safe. We've seen people who tend to, during dangers, say, okay, we are the youth, let's try to organize ourselves. Let's try to position ourselves in order to defend our community. So all those things can be done directly or indirectly, and they can be put on the account of youth civic engagement.
Okay, thank you so much for those details. I definitely know Mr. Suleiman has something to say when it comes to the engagement, like the activity, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this. So basically, youth engagement is what I will also want to, coming from, and in which area. Like we, our youth should be actually encouraged to, actively participate in decision making. That is politics. Generally, I will just come from that angle. When you have the means to do so, although you should not be encouraged when it will serve as a source of distraction for that very youth. Today, what is common that we normally see here in Africa, or let me say around the world, is like my brother just rightly said, that apathy that is always there. Oh, it's politics. I don't want to get engaged. I have um, a boss. He's an high level, he's a high ranking police officer. He used to say that then that in the police, nobody wants to join the police. Like, of course, we know how bad police is in.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll be saying, no, hey, I cannot join the police. Can you come? I cannot join the police. I cannot. Then the man said, now, okay, no problem. Now, the good people, you don't want to join the police. Then the group will join. And they treat you badly and you are complaining. The good people don't want to join. So that's the same thing that is happening to politics. You don't want to join them. The bad people go there. They make decisions that will affect you. And so the thing is, we really have to, unless it will serve as a probably a source of distraction. If you have the means, probably you're financially buoyant, you have achieved your aim in life as a youth. We have youth today, thanks to technology, AI, and all that, and all the contemporary field that we have today, like data analysis, cyber security, and all that. People are really making money from there. So if you are, okay enough, and you have the content of character that is required, please venture into politics. I will advise that in order to go and change, so many narratives. And I make both to say that the youth of today, some of us are, so exposed to so many things that are, currently happening around the world. And, getting into politics will really digitalize so many things that is taking centuries. I can tell you for free that in the Nigerian political system, or let me say our institutions, is yet to be fully digitalized. Let me just put it that way. There is still this element of this past thing that is there. That's why you see policy taking years before now you hear them budgeting money for something like creating a website, and you'll be hearing billions in create like something an average person can just create and it will be working. So I guess when they have fresh blood and youth there, and probably those youth are ready to be listened to, I think it will hasten the kind of development that we all yearn for. So that's the area I firstly want to contribute on.
Okay, so that's a pretty cool. I think Mr. Isaac John is trying to join us. We can see him in the studio. But Mr. John, I would probably.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Good
Oh,
evening, Mr. Horeb, and good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for the distraction. I have to really do some settings with my system and then also try to assist with my phone. So I have to use my phone now for the meeting. I'm sorry for the I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it's okay. I know you're on your phone, but I can actually ask you to do something. Probably flip, down on your phone and choose the rotation so that you have the landscape and then it will
Oh,
cover the screen.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you can do it right on your phone and then you join us back. Okay, guys. So let's those are one of the challenges you actually come across when it comes to joining studios from afar. All right. So those are the activities. Now we've stated them. We all know that these are the activities that young men are supposed to do, how they're supposed to get engaged. But what do we think are the barriers? Why are these not happening? Now we're talking about, you actually mentioned political illiteracy. In case that people said no, like you said, political apathy, people saying, oh well, I don't want to join. Why do you think people don't want to join, like young people? Why do you think they stay away, they are running away from politics? Is it because they believe that even if they get there, they are not going to be allowed to do what they have to do? Is that the reason? Like what are the reason why they don't want to do that? Muidin.
So one of the things I would say is I would talk about limited access to education. I believe when people know their right, when they know the impact of their efforts, they tend to really take it seriously. Some people do not know the intricacies of how everything functions. So until they know, they will not be able to really take it seriously. So when you know the value of something, when you know that this power, I have it, because you have the power in a democracy, the people have the power. But if you don't know, you just think that, okay, look, these are the people with the power. And sometimes too, people are just thinking that, look, there is nothing I can do. There is already a system, and the system has been pre-programmed. Anything I do is not going to really affect. For example, in political apathy, some people decide not to even venture into politics because they think one is dangerous. They can get themselves killed. You can see how
Yeah.
people take politics, and it's not only I used to think that it's something that is only limited to Africa, but coming to the United States, I've seen how dichotomized the society has been because of politics and how they fight. So some people are just pacifists. They don't want any trouble, according to them. So because of that, they decide to what, to just stay back and watch everything.
But that's also dangerous because if you're quiet, they take decision on your behalf.
Yes, that is education. That's if you know that really that is even more dangerous than you being actively involved, then you will take action. So it's because people are not really educated on the dangers associated with the decisions they make. That is one. Another thing we can talk about voter suppression. When you look at Nigeria, when you see Ivory Coast, we see countries in Africa during elections, there is this voter suppression. The people go out with cutlasses, guns, to frighten or to threaten people and prevent them from voting. And that is one of those things that is really making it difficult for people to go out and vote. So we can devise other means in order to facilitate election and voting. If that can be done, I think it's going to also encourage people. Another thing, I will talk about tokenism. Sometimes we just put people in a position and then we want the youth to be involved, but in reality, do we give them the power when
Mhm.
they are into the process? So we can see that at some level, we say, okay, we don't want the kids or the youth to just come and be the president. We just want them to start from the beginning. But when you give someone the decision, when you give them the work to do, when you give them their job description, but you give them the authority to carry those things out effectively. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. So because of that, some people don't want to be the figurehead. They just don't want to be there and do nothing. They want to really make changes. But you just put them there as a symbol without doing anything. So because of that, some people just retract themselves, or they are grudging in joining or reluctant in joining politics. And sometimes it's economic, because you need to have money for some things to happen. But sometimes like my father would say, that it's only a person who has eaten to his satisfaction that can just say, let me just go to a photo studio to take pictures. If you have not
Okay.
eaten, there's nothing you can do. So like the French people say, vent affamé n'a pas de la pointe d'oreille.
Na point d'oreille.
I've not eaten, there is nothing you cannot think well. You cannot be productive if there is no light. You have not even solved your family issues, and then you'll be thinking of doing some other things to help other people in the society. So sometimes poverty also, and a lot of time, poverty also prevents people from really putting themselves 100% into civic engagement activities.
Oh, okay. Let's go strictly to Nigeria with Mr. Sulaiman Babatunde. If you see, probably like from the last election, with end SARS, activities, we saw the youth, coming up, were like seriously willing to
Tebo,
join.
all right.
Yes, we can. I can hear you. I can hear you, Mr. John.
There's some back now. I think everything is fine now. Tebo.
Yeah, everything is stable. Just make sure you set your camera so that we can see your face, as you can see on your screen. So
Okay.
that's all.
Okay, Tebo. Just fine. We work at that now.
Uh, okay,
Kabeza.
just
Can you see me now? Sorry,
yes,
today is Can, and I'm actually analyzing stories on Can by 6. So I'm working in between StreamYard and also stories on Can. So, but you can go.
okay,
Everything's
okay.
fine now.
Yeah, that's pretty. But I can see you right now, so
Oh,
you are really fine with us. Yeah, that's very fine. Thank you.
sorry. Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Actually, StreamYard and problems. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So, back to you, Mr. Babatunde. Looking at Nigeria, looking at the youth, the youth there, and then their engagement, in activities over there. So, what would you say is actually hindering them of getting to that level? Now, we look at, situations whereby to get into politics, or probably you want to go for presidency, there's an amount of money that is put, and then you look at yourself and say, if you don't join a political party, you can't actually do it. And the political parties are the bigger one. They are you need that money to get there. And as youth, you don't have the means. And people feel that you have to start from local government chairman first. You have to start from that level. So you need to learn the steps. So you cannot just jump and become, whosoever. So how do you analyze all this?
Okay, yeah. The truth is, yeah, one actually needs to learn the step. You cannot govern a people you do not understand.
All right.
There is this, there is this culture that has been prevailing over the years. The reason why, let me say, some set of politicians will continue winning election is they've been in the system for years. Some of them 25 years, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. They've been there. And you, as a person, probably you don't even have 1 year or 2 years experience and you want to win. Is that possible? No. Of course, you, even without even starting from the local government, the thing is, you just have to be there and understand how people think. Okay? Then you have to come with the best strategy possible to actually change probably whatever thinking that you think they have that is wrong now. Probably because they have been bastardized over the years. They don't even understand what good governance is. They've never traveled out of their country. And probably they see so many things as, okay, nah, this is not real, it's another country and something. And they don't understand their right. Of course, so many of them, we don't even read the country constitution. They don't know nothing about governance. The only thing they understand about governance is what has been actually dictated by those governing them. It is that instruction they give to them. In fact, I just wish you just go into, this area and see how people think. And today, because of that, bad governance that has been there over the years, the mentality of our people, let me say, many people have been, let me say, bastardized. So of course you have to understand them. And if you understand governance, you have to come with strategies. You understand that will bring about good governance, to them, because you can't just come and say, "Oh, I want to change the world," and all that. You face problems. And the thing is, and meanwhile, the thing is, one need to always work as a team and really understand what governance is all about. Now, there's a huge difference between being a youth, being educated, or probably being exposed. Maybe you have traveled and really understand what it really means to govern. Like, for instance, now, an average African over the years will learn the kind of education that has been receptive. We don't question things. You understand?
Yeah.
There are so many things we just believe. Like, let's look at social media. Anybody can just go there, put any information, and you see people go to pages and go and measure content of thought of the so-called section of a youth, a section of our youth. What's the problem? Because the kind of education we've been receiving, we don't question things. Like, okay, if you see a topic like the story of there's this popular story of in fact, this story is not only limited to Nigeria. Like, there was a particular time, the reason why India does not go to the World Cup
Yes.
again.
Yes.
That people actually believe it.
Exactly. In fact, me growing up, I thought it was true.
I'm telling you, we don't question things. How is that possible? Like, is unreal, for real. There are so many stories there. So the Nigerian, let me say the youth mind, although there are some changes that have been happening over Africa currently. Look at Burkina Faso. In fact, with the current, I normally watch their video on YouTube like virtually like 4 times every day. When I'm just this busy, probably I'm off class. The next thing is when I go to YouTube to pop up and go and watch. If you see the army on the field, field ground, and the man is projecting. Yesterday, some equipment just came from abroad, and it was as a contribution of the Igbo people. Like, in fact, I watched a video 2 days ago where a particular community contributed around, let me say, 11 million, 11 million of francs CFA. They contributed to the army. They gathered all the money. They got equipment. If you see the equipment that was gotten, and it was a national thing, and the initiative was quite encouraging. Look at what is happening in some other countries in Africa, like Mali, as an example. In fact, then currently there is this Mansa. I don't know if you have heard about it. I just watched the video just pop up 2 days
Mr.
ago,
Masiba.
and it's been led. Yes, it's been led by Alain Foucault, that popular
Wait,
journalist,
journalist.
Achieved Afrique, and there's a particular journalist, Domche.
You can do
I
cool.
watched one of his speech. Oh my God, I was so moved.
Hmm.
In fact, they are coming and they are trying to change the narrative of our youth. That why do you always, accept narrative without questioning? Why? And we consume anything. So I don't want to take much of our time. I think that's one of the problems we are having. In fact, the so-called educated youth that we are having, we've been over the years kind of been under the kind of receptive education. Is whatever we are being told. We don't question things, and it's the other way around in some advanced society. They question things, and when you question, solution comes. That's why you see topic in mathematics and some other subjects being difficult in solving for years. You may only have maybe very few people solving it,
But
but ordinary very people one will not be able to solve. So that's just one of the problems you're having in Africa here. Like the kind of education we have received over the years, we don't question. We've been questioning the society
yeah,
in the ecosystem.
do you all think, let me, this is for everyone, do you all think that it is our educational system that actually made us this way? Because let me be honest with you, it affected me when I came to the US. You know, these are the system in our educational system. You are just to be in class and never question, and you consume, and then you
Consume.
consume, you go out. Okay, so when I came here, something like that happened. I'm always in class, I didn't want to talk. The reason is I was expecting the
Yeah.
prof to just, give us everything now.
Yes.
We have to go home. And then when my professor discovered that, he insisted that in every class, everyone, you must say something before you must say something. And it became, so that's actually, I'm actually getting from there. But do you all think the educational system has to do with this?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely. Okay.
huh?
Yeah, from my
Okay,
own point of view, yeah, I think yes, it's not supposed to be so. I think the
okay,
narrative is changing across. I think some private schools in Nigeria, in fact, some universities, especially the private, the sector,
yes,
they have changed. In fact, I've been opportunity to work in some international private schools, and we've had head of schools that came with wonderful educational let me say content and package that has to do with questioning the content of what you are learning, and everybody must question. And there are so many methods now that I can't remember to start listing. So of course, at the end of the day, the results were just there. You see students asking questions about something, you see them, you see critical thinking. In fact, when they contribute to the topics, like they want to question that, okay, why is something this? So it is out of that kind of education that we see, you know, um, large scale production of, so many things that that can actually change our society. It is happening in the private sector, both in the, let me even say the primary, let me say the grade, the secondary, and the high institution. It's happening in some sector. It is now left for our government. I think some leaders in the, let me say, in the government, some of them have that idea anyway, but that
okay.
implementation is yet to come to full over time. You discover that some things will naturally change, some things will naturally dissipate. Even the current politicians, some of their children that have had the opportunity to even go abroad and study, some of them, let me say, over the years, and when you have a large number of you that are, things will start changing naturally. Some things will not just start making sense, and of course,
Changing the
yeah,
narratives. That's the
yeah,
most important thing we
yes,
should do.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, it's been a while that Isaac John has joined us. Let's hear from him, on this topic of youth civic engagement. So we've talked about what it is, we've talked about the activities, but in a general view, how do you see it, sir?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here with you guys this evening. I'm so sorry. And all right, pardon. Please, I'll try as much as possible to see how I can put in give in my input in respect to the topic of discussion for tonight, how youth
Yes.
can be engaged and so useful to their community. Of course, we see youth as a like the brain or the power or the strength of every community, which means we really need to focus and see how we can empower them, engage them, so when we are not there tomorrow, they can be so useful to them. Youth are the key to every society. That's the basic truth about it. Now, in a community whereby youth are not being empowered, then what do we expect when we want them to do for us? I was thinking
Mm-hmm.
about that today when I was discussing with my colleagues in the office, saying that okay, a community that is building up and then the youth are there and they're not being empowered, they're not being engaged to learn skills, they are not being shown to see how they can help to manage their community when they are not there tomorrow, then how would they help them to be successful? So we try to see how we can break in and see how the youth can be useful. And one of the things I came out to see, and one of the basic things I came out to point out today is their resilience and how also how they can contribute in building up their local communities. For
Okay.
example, when we look at the Lake Chad Basin, and then we look at in the Lake Chad Basin where you have the Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger, and Chad, you see that
Yes.
most youth from this Lake Chad Basin, once they leave this region, their region, they don't come back. That's the basic truth. Majority, especially Cameroon and Niger, they don't come back. They prefer, I we prefer to stay here and build up community here where I found myself. Because community where I am coming from, they are not helping us stay over there. So they prefer let me go out and stay here. They don't come back, and that's why their community remains the same thing up to date. But why? I have to say the leaders of that community are not really trying to build them up. When you look at the community environment in the Lake Chad region, you will see that we have youth, potential youth in the Lake Chad region. For example,
Okay.
why are you the Lake Chad? Is because I in my research in respect to this topic, I see that they are like the main key focus to my point tonight. The youth in the lecture are not being involved. So one, they need to they need to nurture them physically, emotionally, mental well-being also is very important. So in every society at all, the youth really need to be empowered. Another example, if I'm from Lagos and I see that in my community in Lagos, we have we have mentors, we have people who are well grounded into entrepreneurship. We have people who are exposed to skills that are supposed to teach the youth in that community. But because me, I am not exposed, and I love remaining indoor, then a region in Lagos like Badagry, we have people from this region they are training their youth there. I will run away from Lagos and go to Badagry because I know in Badagry I can get skills, skills, build skills
Yes.
now. Voila, I can learn things from there. It means my community will lose me. So if I live in a community as a youth where I'm not being empowered, there's every tendency that they will lose me. I will leave my community and go to the next community and get empowered. So I think every leader in every community really need to create atelier, uh, comment dirais-je empowerment
Workshops.
A
workshop.
workshop.
Exactly. Have a workshop. Have a workshop. When you are exposed to a skill, don't hide it. If you're in your community, call for a workshop. Bring out the youth that are there and teach them. It is like transition of knowledge, transition of
Yeah,
power.
to others.
But it n'est pas là-bas. The person that as you taught them, they will also teach others to people. Now the youth in every community really needs to be empowered. Skills is very important. Very important. Education also is there, of course. But when you have education, you also need to learn skills as well. Because if you have knowledge, you are not empowered. Pour moi, c'est zéro. Parce que you have knowledge, you have empowerment, you can do anything at all. And finally, workshop, which I said, let me key in briefly into this workshop. I said programs that teaches practical skills for life, financial literacy, communication skills, and problem solving also is very, very, very important. Social engagement. Most youth are very, very shy. This is the truth.
Youths are very shy.
They are very shy. This is the truth. Most youth are shy, especially Africa. Because when you see, come, let's learn, they run. But we want you to give an example of yourself in your society so that when the youth see what you have done, teach them. I said, come, what I have done, you can do it. Then they will do it. But if you don't teach them, how do you expect them to learn? They will run away from it. So in Rakusi, I think every society, every country, every local government, every community, if you can hear this program, if you have the skill, teach the youth in your community. Don't wait for them to come out and meet you. Look for them, and they will make the community or your society a better place. Merci.
Okay, thank you so much for for all those input. So, guys, we will come back, and then we'll be looking at the solutions. What do we have to do? The fact that we've seen, okay, like youth are shy, and there was something he mentioned earlier that the youth in the like chat
Like
basin,
chat
Chat,
region.
like
yes,
people
yes.
stepping out and not coming back. So how do we do now? Now you have the syndrome of the jackpottism syndrome, which is there. Everyone is actually, those are supposed to be in those environments and then contribute, are actually stepping out and not coming back. So what do we have to do? What are the steps that are to be taken? So we'll be looking at all that after this break. Stay with us, please. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Horeb Nation Talk Show. We've been here for a while talking about the youth civic engagement. So we've been looking at what it is. When we talk about youth civic engagement, we've also looked at what are the barriers, to this. There are a lot of things that we've talked about. And thanks to Muhyiddin Ibitowa, Sulaiman Babatunde, and Isaac John that have been in the studio with me having all the discussion. Those of you that are out there watching us, yes, you also have the chance, through the comment section to drop your opinions. If you have questions to ask us, or you have questions that you want to ask my guests, you are actually free to do that. Drop your comment, through the comment section, be you on Facebook, on YouTube. You definitely can actually reach out to us, except those on Instagram. For now, the platform doesn't really take, comment from Instagram. But if you're on Facebook and YouTube, you can actually drop, comments, and I will pass it on the screen for everyone to see. So back to the studio here, guys. So we want to be looking into the solutions, because it is pretty cool to talk about problems, to complain about problems, but the way forward are always the best thing. Now, but we want to start from the Jackpot syndrome. The youth civic engagement requires that the youth in the environment, they contribute in one way or the other. Because I believe even if you are not right in your country, you are far away, you can actually contribute from wherever you are in any way. In case you are not back there, you can actually contribute wherever you are. But still, what is causing this jackpot syndrome? I know when we say jackpot, for those who don't understand, is actually, how do I call it? In French, they call it most of
Immigration.
exode
Let
rural,
me say,
immigration, right?
yeah, yes, immigration. Yes.
Living where you are to go looking for green pasture. Yeah, that's what jackpot means. It is now the Yoruba language actually taking place. Getting formalized in whatever form we see it. So, why is Jackpa like being so? I don't know. It's raining these days. Like, people are stepping out. The more, even if you go to Nigeria, the more people are complaining that there's no money. You still seeing, if you go to the airport, you still seeing people, going out, but there's no money. What is happening? Muidin, let me start from you. We were
Okay,
once in Nigeria together.
the prevalence of Jagbaism as a Jagba syndrome, where you see the youth leaving the country, I think it's the rudiment is coming from hardship.
Okay.
There is hardship in the country, and because there is hardship in the country, people people when there is hardship, most of the time, I think there are two scenarios. You see that people see the light at the end of the tunnel, like they are saying that, okay, we are seeing signs, indicators that things are going to be
Things
better,
will get better. Okay.
or we can we can put some things, we can impute some things and then make it better. But most of the time, jackpot, when it happens, is when people see that, look, there is no output, there is nothing good coming out from this, so they decide to what, to just go. Now, even when you say that, people say they don't have money and they're still going. Most of the time, people even borrow money to put themselves in this situation. In fact, some people also expose themselves to dangers to put themselves in this situation. So I want to quickly chip in that before I proceed. That the basic, the rudiment, the problem is coming from hardship. It's coming from hardship.
Let's
Now,
just see. Let's see what is happening through now. You see what happens to young people going through Libya and getting, killed in the sea and all
crazy.
this.
It's crazy. You can see people are putting themselves through this risk. In fact, some people sell their businesses. Some people are even well to do with, but I think it's also this inferiority complex for some people. They are well to do with in their country. They have a good
Good
work,
job.
they have a good salary in their work, but yet they still sell all these things and then they leave. and to expose themselves to these dangers. So are we talking about the solutions? Do you want me
Yes.
to?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, let's go ahead.
what are the possible solutions? I think one of the things is that to create an environment that's going to provide employment to people and also try to regulate the economy in order to reduce this hardship on the people. Because if people are relieved of this burden, I know some of them, some people are even, they want to stay. Some people don't even want to travel.
Mhm.
Despite this hardship, they want to stay. So if you create this avenue, if you create an atmosphere where they will feel that, okay, at least I'm getting something to eat, I'm getting something to live for, they're going to stay. And now for people who had already jackpot, people who had already left the country, what
Yeah.
can you do to attract them back is to create policies in order to favor them coming back. I think India has created something like that. So what they do is that they give them the position or the opportunity to come back and even assume their position. Like let's say you are a director of program manager in your country. So what they do is that it's a gradual thing. They allow you to come into the country and start to also mentor some people and then go. They can also facilitate you establishing your business with reduced taxation. In some instances, no taxation is even required. So these are things that will entice people to come back to the country. Don't make it difficult for them to come back. And also try to create policies. Try to in fact, some countries also they don't even allow people to hold dual citizenship. I think one
Yeah.
of the things you can do is to allow them to do that. I think Kenya does not allow dual citizenship. So what you can do, allow them to also get their own chance to be actively involved in their country of origin. So when they want to leave or when they want to start another business, they think of coming back to the country, own a business with a reduced tax, and this will attract them. They will come. And I think that's one of the most effective and the efficient solution we can think of when we talk about people who had already jackpot left the country.
Mm. Okay, so Mr. Suleiman, yeah, we're still talking about the solutions, to youth civic engagement. So we talk about the barriers. We know these are the challenges, especially I think what we based on mostly today is voting and then finding a way to change the narratives, the narratives which you actually talk about basically. So what do you prefer as solutions?
Okay, yeah. Let me come from this point of view in order to add to the what actually
Muhyiddin
is
said.
adding is fueling the Japaism.
Yeah.
Another factor that is really fueling the Japaism is security.
Okay.
Yeah, there's insecurity. There's this spate of kidnapping. In fact, if you read stories of kidnapping, horrible ones, there is a particular one I read yesterday. You must have seen it in the news. A group of musicians went to a particular state. They were going back to Abuja, and they were kidnapped. So they spent days there. I think I watched it on BBC. Yes, they were defecating and peeing on their body. They could not go anywhere. They said if they go, they will kill them. Like horrible story. They were so weak they could not. And there's several stories of that everywhere. In state like you dare not. If I rural state, you cannot even visit them. So now for those that eventually leave, despite the comfort of the number of amount of money they have in their account, it's because of the insecurity that's in the land. And funny enough, things happen, and there's this impunity that's in the system. Nothing will happen. Like the government does not even know you exist. Like you're on your own, oh, and like the Yoruba will put it, any kan lo mo.
Hmm.
It's not that I need that will know. It's really horrible. So insecurity is part of the thing that is actually fueling. Like, it's better I'm going to a country where. Then meanwhile, in some of the problem is that even with your money, you practically need to invent everything. Like light is not stable. You have to buy solar, very expensive. You have to spend more than a 1 million naira to have a stable solar that can even power your laptop. So there is no. You have to, if you have the money, you have to invent. Like you have to. It's not convenient. The road to you cannot even tar the road to your house. Even if you have 10 million or something. So the environment is not enabling. Let me just put it. Is then though in some area it could be maybe better in terms of enablement, but the environment is not enabling. That is insecurity. That's one of the causes. Then the solution to that, government should fix the security problem that is in the country. If the country is well secure, you think of investment and business. That will attract FDI, foreign direct investment. In fact, this brain drain that is happening through Japaism, it can be a favor. I wouldn't blame anybody of from Nigeria. I wouldn't. Of course, everybody wants security, and one of the role of the government, the primary role of the government is security of life and property. When you feel your life is not safe somewhere, your property is not safe somewhere,
I
you
mean,
have to
like the
just
basic things, basic
basic
needs.
things, so
Needs,
basic.
basic
So when
communities.
those things are not there, you just have to just probably temporarily shift ground to go and save your whatever, your life and something. Then when everything is stable, you come back. Then one of the advantage like that will happen eventually is that there are some expertise that you are going to acquire over the time. In fact, there are business ideas you can learn in that new environment you are going to that can really be implemented here that are not happening. You understand? When you come back, is to be a plus to society, because at the end of the day, you end up maybe employing people and reduces the number of,
Unemployment.
but at the end of the day, you'll be able to contribute to the little part of insecurity, because when the government fix the larger part of insecurity that is in the ground, on making the environment enabling, if you come back, you establish a business, some people are being employed. Of course, you are driving people, distracting them from the bad thing they could have, been in. So that's one of the reasons, one of the solutions I think that will happen. Government should first of all make the environment secured and enabling. Then, of course, that will be inviting for our people that are abroad anywhere in the world. And by the time they come back home, at the end of it, the dark part that has been or the brain drain that is a negative thing today will become a positive one. I think that's one of the solutions that can really be and our government should create that kind of trust and
In the
integrity
people.
and the people. You don't believe them. You hear stories like the government will make policy. In fact, it has gotten to a point in the country or in some African country, like if the government saying we are going to fix something, until you see it working, you can't believe it. How will you believe in words? You are just deceiving yourself until you see it happening, because there are so many promises that have been made at the end of it not working.
Yeah.
Although, over the time, due to the bad governance and all that, in fact, the good people that don't want to be corrupt, they've been forced to be corrupt, because the society. One of the leader of Nigeria, I think the ex-vice president, once said when they were in power, then he said in Nigeria, he said the government pretends to pay his workers, like his government worker, and the workers are also pretending to work. That word is
Okay.
powerful.
Everybody's
He said,
pretending.
he said it at the 55th, I think 55th annual the bar association. They were doing their 55th, I think, that particular year. So he said it there that the government is pretending to pay workers and workers are also pretending. So the system is not really in the country. It needs it takes a long. So many things really need to be fixed. Then over time, the Japa syndrome
Okay,
will be.
thank you. Let's take this comment before we go to John for his own for solutions. We have Ordering Day, Teslim Abiodun. He was the
Yes.
former president of what's this association in French Village again?
Naflans. Is it
Plan.
No, no,
Naflans?
not Laflance. In French Village itself.
SRC.
SRC,
Okay.
yes, he was the president of SRC. Then I was
Okay.
there, with the club RFE. They say youth engagement can be enhanced through education, community involvement, leadership training, networking, technology, entrepreneurship, global perspective, inclusive policies, and cultural understanding, preparing them for future leadership role. This is beautiful. One thing I like about all these things is, the way they are spelled out are very good, but putting them into action is always, the challenges that we face. And Daniel, Femi Daniel, I did say, well done, guys. I think he has another thing he said. He said, it is nice seeing Mr. Muhyiddin Ibitowa again. So see the face of Mr. Horeba Muhyiddin. It resembles a Nigerian again, a Nigeria again. Oh, that is just a simple attestation of the advantage of Jackpa. Me too, Jackpa now. Just waiting for the right time and opportunity. Okay, this was Femi Adeligwe was with us at the French Village. I think, yeah, then in
Okay.
2013. So it was peace and love, everyone. Okay, thank you, Robin. We really appreciate this. Thank you. So, Mr. John, now let's get to you. Now you actually mentioned a lot of things. You listed a lot of things earlier that youth have to do. We have to do, and then we look at the barriers, to those things. But what are the solutions you prefer? How do we get there to all those propositions that you made?
Okay,
Juliet is my fiance.
okay, so I'm actually in between the two meeting here. But I think okay
what
now
you have
the
for
chat,
us,
for
then
example, I
from
I
there,
came in earlier talking
of course, the
about
floor
the
will
chat
open for
video.
everybody to
So
react
let me please guys,
to
I'll join you guys
whatever.
in the meeting, please. So I'll do
Do you
no, no,
have
no,
a
no,
meeting? Do you have a
no, no,
meeting going on there?
no, it's okay, it's okay. Let us continue. It's fine. I have to
Okay.
let go. I'll join you after this meeting. Yeah, I'm supposed to have a meeting by 5:30, but it's fine. It's fine.
All
So
right.
I think the lectured youth,
Yeah.
Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, and Chad. Why am I focusing more on the lectured? Because I think Nigeria, for example, is far ahead. I know of the lectured, but I think it's the same region, Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, Niger. So the lectured youth prefer if the government can the solution that needs to be put in place to fight this issue of the lectured youth leaving their region to another place, stay without coming back.
Yes.
The government has a basic role to play. And one of the role to play is the government need to provide employment opportunity. Because I remembered back then in Abidjan, I met a friend, Sadiq, and he told me one thing about Nigeria. He said, I prefer I go to Nigeria than Canada. I said, why? He said, because in Nigeria, if I have come on, if I have 1,000 safer, can give me 3,000 naira.
Okay.
That's the payment. Yes. So I can give me 3,000 naira. I said, okay. But it's the same thing. That was his ideology over there in Abidjan. So when he came to Nigeria, he stayed, I chatted, he said he's Nigeria, you're toujours Nigeria, entire. And he's doing well. Now tell me, for example, if the government of so country said, okay, this currency is the same thing with this currency, why will I leave my country? Why? Because I know I'm having everything in my country. If I'm living Nigeria, Abidjan, Ghana, Burkina, Niger, or to any country, it's because one, either I go to school or I got a job that is better than the way I'm doing in my country, all insecurity. Let me go and work where I'll be fine. Secondly, the government should provide, make education free, make education free for every of its citizens. This is a joyful thing to them over there. I'm not going to Canada, London, or any country because I want to go to school. My country has made everything easy for me. So I need to
Okay.
come. I need to stay here. I need to stay here and give my own impact to my society or community. And then the government also need to provide civic engagement, encouraging civic engagement, and create platforms for youth to actively participate in political and social process. It should not be it shouldn't be segregated. No, shouldn't, pardon. It shouldn't be one sided. Every youth, every youth have the right to participate in every activities in every country. As long as you're a youth and a law state, okay, election, participate. Don't make it said, okay, because you are not of so age, stay here. No, jamais. Everybody should participate. It serves as a way of encouragement to them as well. Let's also talk about the jobs should be there after school.
Yes.
Don't wait for them. Don't wait for your youth to look for job. The joy of everyone is, I'm done with school. Say what? What next? I have my
Yes.
job. I went to school because I want to get exposed. I want to after that, what next? Stay at home 4 years, 5 years, or 20 years without getting a job. It's discouraging. And then when I get a job outside, do you expect me to be there? No, jamais. I prefer I go outside and work and then come back. Hello,
Hmm.
vous m'écoutez?
Yeah. Yeah. We can
let
hear
me
you.
let me round up by saying that let me round up by also pointing out the fact that in youth empowerment program we have so many. The government should make it free. It should be free.
Okay.
For example, we shouldn't say I want to empower my youth, and then I'm saying that the youth need to pay to get empowered. For what? No, jamais. I want there is money. You have money to empower you. When you're not there tomorrow, the youth will be the one to take over from you. The government should try as much as possible to involve youth in their agenda, their program of the year. This is a joy to the youth. This is a joy to them. I'm not leaving my country because I know I have a role to play in my country. And even if I leave my country, I know I will come back and still make my country a better place. Lastly, they should invite people, expatriates from outside that are well exposed in areas of building them, engaging in their community, so that when they leave, they will never. Monsieur, I can tell you, if the government can empower their youth, bring out programs, agenda for them every year, make their lives so flexible, let them be free, let them be fine. You will see it will be hard, very hard for them to tell you that I'm leaving my country. But why do you think? Why do you think Abidjan is like it's not to be a stranger? It's a country for the strangers. Why? C'est pour les étrangers. It's not even for their people. It's for the strangers. because they believe that yes, when I come there, it's comfortable. So I think in Orakusi, the government needs to empower them. The government needs to provide education free for them. The government needs to provide security. People make them feel threatened. And then the government also needs to encourage them at all times to make sure that they are fine. Youth are the strength of every country. That is the basic truth. They are the strength. Without them believing me, they are partnership.
Thank you so much. So I think we are already coming to the end of the show. So we have during this. Let me go back to Femi that said the practicality of the good things stated for youth is just a mere fallacy. The solutions are not practicable and realistic. Let everyone do the needful and make use of his or her potential. This is something I've been looking at. I would say education before, but now I think it's power and connection. Do you think you can see that this is a Nigerian youth that's losing hope in education? You understand? So thinking is not about education again, because it is what it is now to get educated, to go to school, but come out and then with nothing. I think our education system need to be, to looked at again. Then Othering Day says government can prepare youth for leadership roles by implementing strategies like education reform, civic participation, and he added that government can also create a comprehensive framework that actively involves prepares the youth for various roles, fostering a more vibrant and capable future generation. And Professor Ariuli from the University of Lagos, he said education,
Education.
education, and education. So according to him, this is just the best way to go, because when we say education, I think it's englobes a lot of
Yes,
things.
yes, yeah. It's broad. It's broad.
Holistic.
It's
You know,
broad.
it,
Acquiring a skill,
It's wide.
education.
exactly, it englobes a lot of things. Prof, thank you very much. Thank you for and then the last one, it said if we are saying youth
There is no
engagement,
yes.
I totally disagree. Recently we have a youth in a ministerial role, and alas, she messed up by showcasing a corruption skill. I believe the mentality of Africans in general need to change. The structure need to change for people to show good attitude. So I actually wanted to talk about this, but we don't have time. I think we need to come back, for this again. Even the youth that we are talking about, putting into positions, and then they are actually
Messing up.
showing, yeah, they are messing up. They're actually different from what we're expecting. And finally, Eze Christopher, Monsieur Horeb et l'enfant du Lagoon Ebrié Mouidine.
Every
Je suis vraiment ravi de vous voir. Congratulations
Muidi,
together.
the
We
lago
ought to be.
C'est
Yeah,
Abidjan, no?
yeah.
Abi.
Eze Christopher was with us in French Village in 2013. I think he's in Switzerland now, if I remember very well.
Okay.
So, guys, I think we can't go beyond this time already, and I really want to say thank you to
Okay.
every one of you. Thank you, Muidini Bitowa. Thank you, Sulaiman Babatunde. Thank you, Isaac John. I really appreciate that even with all the challenges, you made sure, you are here on this show. That's really great. I really appreciate you guys, and I want us to do more of this. Talk about. We have
Okay.
a lot of things to talk about as youths.
Talk about
I think this is just our contribution. And one thing that puts all of us together, me and the three of you, is that we speak French.
it.
Yeah, so definitely we'll be having shows in French too as time goes on. Okay. Eda Ushe, thank you so much. But we already at the end, but man, this is a lot. Let me see. He said the government should create quota participation in governance for the youth. Two, there should be more vocational centers for skills acquisition set up to help the youth get work after training. And oh, Monsieur John, you are here and okay, you are dealing with people there. Okay, Tiwa, thank you so much, Tiwa Nation. We appreciate all of you, for taking part into this. We will see you again, definitely, next time for more of this. Thank you, guys. And then we can say from this point, should we say bye bye, and I'll see you next time.
Over.
Um,